Three things that men have historically had to offer women: money, marriage, children, are things that I don't want or need. I have my own money, I have my own job, I have my own house, I have my own car, I have my own friends, I have my own hobbies.
Wow!
I also don't have a giant imaginary biological clock counting down the seconds to my impending infertility.
Liar!
But some men really don't like knowing that you would be absolutely fine without them. And I am. I'm not just surviving without a man, I'm thriving without a man.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the desert. Now, I know that many of you are on the fence of whether they should come join me on Patreon or not. Well, gentlemen, let me just tell you that yesterday a woman joined my Patreon. A woman, guys. Wow, I haven't spoken to one of those in years. So, if you want to be part of the community, if you want to see exclusive videos, come and join us. We have women, we have exclusive videos, we have bros, we have everything you want and more desert for you. But now, gentlemen, let's move on to our topic of today, which is decentering men. Now, I am a strong believer of decentering men, and so every time I walk into a space, the office, my house, I always sit on the left side of the room because I want to be decentered, you know. I'm such a strong believer in decentering men, but let's see what this woman has to say about it. And also, stick for the article story because it is a very good one.
The interesting thing about knowing from a young age that you don't want marriage or children is that it automatically decenters men from your life. The three things that men have historically had to offer women: money, marriage, children, are things that I don't want or need. I have my own money, I have my own job, I have my own house, I have my own car.
I'm gonna pause you right there, madam, because the thing she said, guys, let's be honest, is extremely sexist. Now, I'm not one that usually uses these terms that end in "ist" or "phobe", but this is sexist, right? To boil down men to they provide money and children and what was the other thing she mentioned is very sexist. This is the equivalent of me saying that women provide sex and headaches. All right, now that may be true for a big proportion of them, but to boil down a female nature to that is sexist, right? So of course empowering when women do it, but let's continue now.
I have my own friends, I have my own hobbies. I filled my life with beautiful things that bring me joy and happiness and contentment. I also don't have a giant imaginary biological clock counting down the seconds to my impending infertility, so I don't have to settle down, with the operative word being settle. You'd think that men would be happy with this, that I don't want or need anything from them, I just like them for them. But what I'm effectively doing is taking away their control over my ability to leave. Money, marriage, children. Some men just don't like that at all. Don't get me wrong, I've had some beautiful relationships with men where the thing that tied us together was the fact that we loved and liked each other. But some men really don't like knowing that you would be absolutely fine without them. And I am. I'm not just surviving without a man, I'm thriving without a man. I don't need a man to provide my happily ever after. I provide it for myself every single day.
Well, gentlemen, disgusting, distasteful are words that you could use. Ugly, straight up ugly. Now, we all know that this woman can survive without men. I mean, you could make the point that if she didn't use all the things that men have made, which is basically her whole room and herself, she will die, which is true. But you know, we all understand that without being in a relationship with a man, she can survive. We all know that. We all know that you're not gonna implode by not being in a relationship with a man. But it's just ugly to say that you don't need a man. All right, this is like going to your mama and telling her, "Mother, I don't need you. Like, I appreciate the things that you provide, like food and a house when I was young, but now I just don't need you, you know? Still like you for who you are, but I just don't need you, you know? Like, you could die tomorrow, I wouldn't need you." It's just ugly. Now, and it's true, like, probably at the age of 15 already, if both your parents pass away, you will probably survive and make it out alive. You don't need them per se, but, you know, there's the thing that you need them for so many other things that are not tightly involved with your survival. So it's the same with men. We can all understand on a physical level you wouldn't explode and dematerialize by not being in a relationship with one, but there are so many things that men provide in a relationship outside of the survival ones. So this woman, guys, is just, whenever these women try to act all independent, run, guys, run for the hills. These are women that will never be grateful towards anything you do. There's a reason, gentlemen, why women who have careers divorce more often. There's a reason why women who have high-earning jobs divorce more often. Not because there's something inherently bad about earning more, but because these women become arrogant. You know, they become full of themselves, and this is why they leave these men often, because they don't appreciate what these men provide. Yeah? So, geez, just this woman's gonna pass away alone, very sad and miserable. It's a delusion that she thinks that she is happy. But now, gentlemen, let's move on to our next one.
Okay, so a little while ago, I did a video, and in that video I said about how lots of men are not in love or haven't been in love, and I've lied about it. And a bunch of you girls were saying, what do you mean by that? Like, what is this about? And I don't see many videos on this on social media, especially on TikTok. And something I don't think a lot of women realise, which is kind of a harsh truth to accept, and I think if a lot of men were honest with you, they would tell you this, they'd admit this. But lots of men either haven't been in love or are not in love with their partners. And I'm saying this from speaking to lots of men. And the amount of men that have said to me, yeah, actually, I've never really been in love. I've just sort of said it because I thought it was the right thing to say. Or I said it because she told me. Or I said it because I thought that it would come eventually. The amount of men that have openly told me that they're married but they've settled because they couldn't get the woman they wanted. Or they didn't get the woman because they set a standard the guy wasn't trying to reach or work for or work towards, so he'd rather lose her and have somebody easier, confirming the taxi cab theory. I know men that have been in love with women and they've got rid of them because they wasn't ready in time, and then again, taxi cab theory, they've waited for somebody who is wanting the same things around the same time as them, more strategy based rather than love based. Whereas lots of women, they won't be ready for a relationship, but they'll meet a guy, they'll fall in love and they'll make it work. Lots of men, they'll have the girl of their dreams, but they won't be where they want to be in life, so they'll get rid of her, spend the whole life being heartbroken, get a woman they don't truly love, waste her time and their own, and be kind of like miserable but keep it together for the kids. Another thing a lot of women don't realise, lots of men are in very unhappy relationships and marriages.
I'm gonna pause it right here. I don't agree with that. It's true that men kind of settle. It's not really settling, it's just that men are not so picky. It's just that men don't constantly compare women all the time. Like, do I really like Becky? I mean, what if I could get a woman that has better hair? What if I could get a woman that is more interested in golf than Becky? They just don't do this comparing. It doesn't mean that they are settling. It doesn't mean that it will doom them forever. So this taxi cab theory, not really in touch with what it states, but from what I understand, it's basically that men are situational when it comes to dating, right? They don't necessarily have a certain person that they will strive for, but rather, if the right moment shows them the right woman, they will just date her, which is true. And again, it's not something bad, right? We often mention on the channel, guys, and most of you agree, that the 3 things you require out of women are fit, feminine, and friendly. A lot of women could fulfill that. And a lot of these women could make men happy. Like, we really, this is not like a championship where we have to pick a winner and there's this one woman that is better than 10,000 more. No, it's true. We really don't care. If you're good enough, you make the cut and that's it. And that's not a bad thing. And also, one further note, let me know what you think. But if I were to pick a gender, guys, that loves more truly and more honestly, at least in these times, it's men. Because love is about it's not just a feeling. It's a feeling, but it's also a principle, you know, meaning that you have to love your partner even in the bad days, even in the days that you are tired, even in the days that you don't feel so well, even in the days that the other person is being annoying. You still love them, right? That is true love. Just like you love your children even though they are annoying. Like, there's no thing such as, oh, sorry, I can't love you today, I'm feeling tired, which is a lot of what these modern women do, right? Oh, the vibe is gone. What does that mean? But that's what it means. It means that, oh, I'm not feeling well, so I can't love you. Their love is conditional upon them feeling well all the time. So their love, what really their love is the love of them feeling good. That's what they love about it. They don't love you. They don't love who you are. They love how you make them feel, right? While on men's side, I see a lot more men that love their couples even on the bad days, you know? So that's from my personal experience. Let me know if you disagree. But now let's continue.
But only stay for the children, thinking that that's somehow better, even though your kids can pick up on it, but that's a video for a different day, when they're not been in love. And the amount of men that I've dated and they've been like, yeah, I thought I was in love before, but actually I wasn't. Or men will lie and say stuff like, you know how often guys will be like, oh, I don't finish from below, so you try harder. Lots of men will be like, oh, I didn't love anyone till you, because a lot of these men want you to feel special. That one's a lot rarer. Like, most men are not going around being like, oh, I've never been in love until you. That's more like very narcissistic based, but it does happen. But there are lots and lots of men who don't know what love feels like. I know so many men that say, I don't know what it's like to be in love, or I'll say to them, have you been in love? And they'll be like, I think so. And I'm like, it's a bit like an orgasm. If you don't know, you haven't. And it's really sad. A lot of men are too scared to fall in love because they don't want to have that level of vulnerability, because it means they could be hurt. So instead they choose to be with women that they're either not going to fall in love with because it's safer, or they was in love when they were younger and it ended and they got hurt. So they just decide to emotionally distance themselves as they get older. And out of all the men I've spoke to, I would say 70% of those men have told me they said I love you and they didn't mean it. They said I love you to a woman because she said it first, or because they thought it would develop. And unfortunately, as sad as it is, I'm not trying to be a negative Nelly and put a dampener on things, but there are lots of men that don't love their wives. Another reason why I like being single and wouldn't want to be with somebody unless we both equally loved each other. And I am very at peace with that decision, because as a woman, you know the amount of times where you go to bed stressing out as fuck, and most women I know that are stressed or in relationships, it's not worth it until you find somebody like you genuinely feel like you can make a go of things with. But yeah, a lot of men are very, very scared to be vulnerable, so don't even fall in love. And there are lots of men who lie and say they love you even when they don't. And I think that's really, really sad, but it's true.
Well, what do you think, gentlemen? If you ask me, I think that both genders can go to the extreme. So women tend to be more picky, men tend to not care so much. But the extremes for both genders are when women become too picky, where they can never settle, they're always thinking about the next greener patch of grass. A man is never enough, you know, and they become these very, very picky women that it's impossible to satisfy them, dooming themselves to be single forever. On the male extreme side of things, you have men who will literally settle for anything, right? You have men who a woman showing interest in them is enough. They don't care about her principles, they don't care about her past, they don't care about her future, they don't care about nothing. They are so lazy and so simpy, and they really don't care about nothing. They are so lonely that they will be in bad company rather than be alone. You know, so they just will literally go out with any woman that shows them attention. And both extremes are bad. In one, women doom themselves to be single forever. In the other, men doom themselves to a very unhappy life. But gentlemen, let's move on to our article story, because it is a really good one and I'm happy I found it. Should I, 28-year-old male, be concerned about feeling uncomfortable with the S3 actual past of the girl, 29 female, I'm getting to know during Never Have I Ever? Guys, I'm gonna say right now that playing Never Have I Ever with a woman in today's day and age is absolutely soul-crushing. Alright? Like, it will break you if you like this woman. in most of the cases. I read, I, 29 male, have been dating a girl, 29 female, for over a month now. Yesterday, for the first time, I hung out with her group of friends. After a few hours of drinking, we started playing the game Never Have I Ever. For those who aren't familiar, in this game, someone says something like, never have I ever kissed more than 3 people at a party, and if you have done it, you have to take a sip of your drink. Throughout the game, the girl I'm dating ended up drinking for every single Never Have I Ever question that came up, and all of them were S3Xual in nature. For example, never have I ever had S3X on a rooftop, and so she drinks because she has. So this woman has done the whole Kama Sutra book, right? This woman has done it in all places, probably with half the city. I couldn't help but react visibly uncomfortable because this was all new information to me, and I was hearing it in front of all her friends. None of my friends were there. I felt somewhat awkward and out of place, as if everyone was watching my reaction. Yeah, because everyone was. It's just shameful, guys. It's just everybody understands that this man is less of a man. Like, everybody understands that he's getting the last piece of cake left that has, like, fell behind the counter for 2 weeks. Like, dating one of these women, guys, is like going to the bakery and instead of buying a fresh bread, buying a stale bread eaten by rats, you know, that has grown cold from like 2 weeks ago, that is harder than a rock, and buying it at full price. This is what this man is getting, and everybody there understands that. This man is getting leftovers. It's just shameful. Now, they won't judge her friends, they'll tell her that it's very empowering, but everybody around understands that this man is getting leftovers. I understand that everyone has a past, and I try not to judge, but I couldn't help feeling uneasy about hearing so many of these things for the first time in such a public setting. I'm wondering if my reaction was immature, or if it's normal to feel uncomfortable in a situation like this. Yes, it's absolutely normal. It's a mistake not to judge. I hate these people, guys. You know it about me. I hate them. I'm not saying you should judge her, like point a finger at her and, you know, be an a-hole about it. But stay true to your principles. If you're a guy that has been holding out for a serious relationship and you haven't been messing around, why should you settle for a woman that has done all these things? And this whole thing about don't judge, everyone has their own reality. No, there is one reality, and that's that. You may make the point that we don't know which reality is true and everyone has a different approach to it, but the fact of the matter is there is one reality. And in my reality, guys, this behavior that this woman has done is degenerate, right? And I believe, guys, that most of you have the same feeling, regardless of whether you are religious or not. If you are religious, this kind of behavior of sleeping around is immoral. And if you're not religious, even from a biological point, from an evolutionary point, sleeping around is something that men don't like. Do you notice that, guys? Do you notice that every time we read these stories, men don't like it? They don't feel well with that. I will strongly state that like 90% or even above of men don't like women and don't feel well when women have slept around. Like over 90%. Some people don't acknowledge it or don't like to speak about it, but it's true and they are just covering it up. Like, the only reason for me for a man to not care about whether a woman has a past or not is if the man never likes her in the first place. Yeah, and he just couldn't care less about this woman's past. If you like a woman, you're most certainly feeling bad if she's being passed around like a beer at a hippie concert, right? So I'm gonna continue now, but this whole thing, guys, of it's been like this for thousands of years, you know? Men have always felt bad about this. It's in this new day and age where, and sorry about that, Windows, shut up, I'm speaking. It's in this day and age where you have people, you know, the current narrative is, bro, live and let live, bro. don't care about nothing, make your day the best. We're gonna die someday, so why don't we fuck around for 80 years before we die and slip into the void? You know, it's just live and let live, bro. I'm not hurting anyone. That's the stupid bullshit narrative that we have in today's society, that's been present for like, what, 50 years, maybe 60 years, guys. I'm 4,000 years old. Throughout most of my life, this wasn't the current narrative, alright? So if you feel bad, congratulations. You have the same feelings that literally every other man throughout human existence has ever had before people started blaming you for feeling how you feel. Oh, you feel bad because the woman you like has slept around with half the city? What are you, insecure? Don't you know that you are less of a man if you feel bad? Because a real man wouldn't feel bad about it and be insecure. If you're a real man, you wouldn't feel insecure. All this emasculate talk. Give me a break. It's absolutely normal to feel like this. So, do you think I overreacted? Asks the guy. How should I have handled it? I'm not sure if I should talk to her about how I felt or just let it go. I'd really appreciate any advice on how to navigate this. Well, you already received my advice, gentlemen. Let's see the comments. That's why I have board games. Guys, even though it's pain to play these games with women nowadays because they're gonna expose their past and it's gonna crush your soul, still do it. You need to know. Dude, you're almost 30. Why would you play that game? Once you're out of college, most people have baggage that makes that game a horrible idea. So this guy says, if I put a blindfold on my eyes, I will feel better because I won't know. That's guys, that's a fantastic idea, you know? If your wife cheats on you, just tell her, hey, next time don't tell me about it so I won't feel bad. It's just a brilliant idea, guys. I will just say you don't have to participate in something like this. I don't want to know everything about somebody's past, and they don't need to know everything about mine. So again, same philosophy. I don't need to know. Why? Because truth hurts. Was Rooftop the bad one? This guy acting like not a big of a deal. It's not a big of a deal if your woman has slept around and you're picturing her getting blown by all these guys. Jeez. It sounds to me like she's trying to hint to you that you can get into more creative. No, she's not trying to hint anything. Like, this guy is making the point that, oh, the rooftop thing, it didn't happen. She's just, you know, making a story so you'd be more creative. No, she's just sharing her past. It's like, what is this? What is this bullshit idea? Holy hell. Maybe she doesn't want to tell you that you're being too vanilla in the bedroom, but she wants you to expand your horizons. Jeez. So it was all a joke, right? She hasn't slept around with half the city. She just wants you to be more creative in bed. Sure, mate, sure. Hey, yo, regardless of her S3 actual escapades, there is absolutely something very off-putting about openly detailing those escapades. Men or women, it's extremely tacky, and I frankly can't abide. You have to know she's going to be telling all her friends the type of crap you two get up to in the bedroom. Yada yada. Guys, let's find one comment that says this is disgusting. Let's try and find one. You guys are almost 30. Did you really think she was a pristine virgin when you started dating her? This, guys, is the current narrative that makes some men worried about sharing their feelings. Oh, so you expect her to be a pristine virgin? Nobody said that, you stupid ass moron. We're just asking, it will be good if I can get into a serious relationship with a woman who hasn't sucked more sausages than a factory produces in a day, alright? A sausage factory. That's what I'm asking. I don't need you to be Saint Mother Teresa of Calcutta, alright? I don't need you to be Virgin Mary. Nobody is asking that. Stop extrapolating. Nobody's speaking about that. By today's standards, being a virgin is, I think, more rare than seeing a unicorn riding an alien or something like this. No, nobody's talking about being a virgin. Jeez. The gaslighting, guys. Alright, finally, someone says, gotta find a person with similar morals and standards. I know some people don't mind being with a woman with 50 plus bodies at age of 19. And people who will throw up if a woman has over 3 bodies at age of 35. Morals and standards is key to not being uncomfortable. Edit, for example, I think swingers, poly relationships are borderline weird, but that's just not my morals and standards. Guys, this is what I mean. This is what judging is. Again, you don't need to judge like an a-hole. Just say, look, your way of living and morals, well, or lack thereof, better said, and standards don't abide with mine. You know, I'm a person who doesn't like the degradation of humankind, so I don't mess with this whole thing of having triple-digit body counts. So for me, you're the equivalent of a underpaid street worker, so I don't want to mess with you, right? Like, try to put it in a nice way. You don't have to be an a-hole about it, but just say, wow, you've really slept with all those people. You're the equivalent of a hooker. Holy crap, I really don't want to pursue anything serious with you. And that's that, right? Jeez. We'll end the video here, guys. I wanted to share this because, yeah, men need to see this. Most of you guys will feel bad in that same scenario. You like this girl, you want it to be special, but then she tells you that she's had more winners inside than, you know, than her bank account number, and it's normal for you to feel bad, right? Because I'll give you an example. What would you prefer? To eat a cake that has all the pieces in it and is brand new and is just made for you, or a cake that has had 17 dicks inside it? What would you prefer? You know, let me know. So it's normal. But guys, we'll cut the video here. Let me know what you think, and I'll see you on the next one. Have a good one.